One. At this time, would you please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Bowman. Alderman Bockelman. Alderman Reese. Alderman Milner.
Present.
Alderman Dickerson.
Here.
Alderman Long is absent. Alderman Turner.
Here.
Alderman Leeson is absent. Mayor Hassing.
Here, and we do have a quorum. Alderman Long telephoned me and wanted to let me know he had a doctor's appointment with his wife. She was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's, so they've been dealing with that. And Alderman Leeson was scheduled to do senior pictures with her daughter. She didn't realize the date, so they both let me know they would be unavailable tonight. Our first item tonight, we do have a ceremonial matter. Tonight we have a recognition of the Lifesaver Award, and I'm going to turn over to our Fire Chief, Mr. Eric Myler.
Good evening, Mr. Alderman, Mayor. This is kind of a special recognition for this guy behind me. There's a little bit of events for the day. Why not get close enough? I'm not loud enough. That's it. This is like a special recognition for Mr. Mark Thompson. He, on the 17th of February 2019, there was 3 people that were attending the community center that day, and they went above and beyond their normal daily routines and took life in their hands. And so Mark Thompson woke that day, felt no different than any other day. He went to play basketball at the community center like he did any other Saturday. He felt that he was physically fit and likely to show younger guys that he could play a good pickup game with the best of them. Mark tells in his story that he did not feel bad other than being tired and beat up by the younger guys. So he went to try to shoot some hoops to get warmed up, see if he could still play. And the next thing Mark knows, he was being transported on an ambulance cot and very confused about what was going on. So what really happened that day? Mark had collapsed on the community center gym floor. 3 people came to his aid and determined that Mark had not fallen and injured himself, but he was in full cardiac arrest. Quick hands using what is called hands-only CPR. Training was started, shared by all 3, and an AED was retrieved to the community center's lifeguard office while EMS was being summoned to the scene. The AED was attached to Mark's chest. Rescuers followed the instructions on the AED and he was shot 1 time. Chest compressions continued, and eventually Mark regained consciousness. EMS arrived to find an apparently stable patient. Although Mark was very confused about what took place, he's a man who will forever be thankful to his rescuers. The recognition is not only being given to the 3 rescuers who used their training to save life by the city of Harrisonville, but by Mark himself. And a great appreciation of all rescuers that came to the aid of that day. Without all the people involved, community center employees, residents with CPR training, ambulance personnel, the doctors and the nurses involved, Mark would not be here to get his appreciation. Just a keynote of the whole deal is Mark joins an elite group. Less than 12% of more than 350,000 people who suffer cardiac arrest outside the hospital's setting survive the event like he had. So I'd like to bring up Miles Lemon, Victoria Valdez, I don't know if she made it or not, and Linda Hitt.
I'd like to thank these 2 for kind of coming to my rescue. They're both modern day heroes. And also like to thank the Harrisonville EMTs, Rachel here was by my side when I was wheeled out into the ambulance. I was able to tell him which hospital I wanted to go to, but apparently they don't have any heart unit over here at the Harrisonville Regional, so they took me to St. Luke's East. Everything was fine. Had a small surgery the next day, and I've recovered fully. So doing a lot more exercise and drinking a lot more water than I used to. My diet's changed radically, but I can't thank these two much, and as much as Victoria also, and she was actually one of the first on the scene, and Linda came in shortly thereafter, and Miles was also there and brought the respirator that brought me back to life. So anyways, can't thank the chief and their staff. Thank you very much.
Over this way.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
And I have to say the timing of that was perfect with having such a good crowd here tonight, everybody get to see that. To me, that would be the ultimate honors if you could save somebody's life, so way to go. It's great to see we have people like that in our community. So that is it for our ceremonial matters tonight. At this time, I will open the floor to public participation. Anybody who has anything to bring before this board, you may step forward at this time. Seeing no one, I'm going to close the public participation and we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. First tonight, you have the minutes from the April 1st, 2019 meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Miller. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Next, you have the minutes from the executive session of April 1st, 2019.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Turner and a second from Alderman Reese. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Item C, Council Bill 20.
Council Bill 20, first reading, an ordinance declaring the results of the city general election held on April 2, 2019 for the offices of mayor and 4 aldermen.
Okay. Do we need just one reading of that? This isn't.
It's an ordinance.
It's an ordinance, so we would need.
You still need to.
Okay, we would need, if there's any discussion, if there is no discussion, we would need a motion to suspend the ruling and move Council Bill 20 to a second reading.
I make a motion that we suspend the ruling and move Council Bill 20 to the second reading. Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Turner and a second from Alderman Dickerson to suspend the ruling and move Council Bill 20 to a second reading. Is there any further discussion? Okay, I'll need a roll call, please.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Long. Absent. Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bockelman. Alderman Bowman. Alderman Leeson. Absent. Alderman Milner. And Alderman Reese.
All right, second reading, please.
Second reading, Council Bill 20, an ordinance declaring the results of the city general election held on April 2nd, 2019 for the offices of mayor and 4 aldermen.
Okay, I need a roll call again, please.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bockelman.
Aye.
Alderman Milner. Alderman Bowman. Alderman Long. Absent. Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Leeson. Absent. And Alderman Reese.
All right, and Council Bill 20 will become Ordinance 03463. All right, that concludes the first part of the agenda as far as voting items. At this time, we will have the swearing in of our new mayor and board of aldermen.
And if I can have Judy and Gary and David and Lance. So you come forward.
I'm gonna sneak in here, guys. Sorry. Hey, let's tighten that up.
And Randy, if you can be off to one side so we can see part of your face a little bit. Judy.
I, David Dorhoff,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
prescribed for the office of Alderman
prescribed for the office of Alderman
of the City of Harrisonville,
of the City of Harrisonville,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws of this state
the provisions of all laws of the state
affecting cities of the fourth class
affecting cities of the fourth class
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
and that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
of Alderman Ward 1,
of Alderman Ward 1,
for which I was elected on the second day of April 2019.
for which I was elected on the 2nd day of April 2019.
I, in your name,
I, Marcy Milner,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed for the office of Alderman
prescribed for the office of Alderman
of the City of Harrisonville,
of the City of Harrisonville,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
provisions of all laws
the provisions of all laws
of this state
of this state
affecting cities of the fourth class
affecting cities of the fourth class
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
and that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
of Alderman Ward 2,
of Alderman Ward 2,
for which I was elected on the second day of April.
for which I was elected on the 2nd day of April 2019.
I state your name.
I, Clint Miller,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
prescribed for the office of Alderman
prescribed for the office of Alderman
of the City of Harrisonville,
of the City of Harrisonville.
that I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States,
and of the state of Missouri,
of the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws
provision of all laws
of this state
of this state,
affecting cities of the fourth class
affecting cities of the fourth class,
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville.
that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
I will faithfully demean myself in the office
of Alderman Ward 3,
Alderman Ward 3,
for which I was elected
for which I was elected on April 2nd, 2019. Thank you.
I, Gary Davidson,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
prescribed for the office of Alderman
prescribed for the office of Alderman
of the City of Harrisonville,
of the City of Harrisonville,
that I will support the Constitution
and that I will support the
of the
Constitution
United States
of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
provisions of all laws
the provisions of all laws
of this state
of this state
affecting cities of the fourth class
affecting cities of the fourth class
and the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
and of the ordinances of the City of Harrisonville,
that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
and that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
of Alderman Ward 4,
of Alderman Ward 4,
for which I was elected
for which I was elected
on the second day of April.
on the 2nd day of April, 2019.
I, Judy
Bowman,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
prescribed for the office of mayor
prescribed for the office of mayor
of the city of Harrisonville,
of the city of
and
Harrisonville,
that I will support the Constitution
and that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws of this state
the provisions of all laws of this state
affecting cities of the fourth class,
affecting cities of the fourth
and
class,
the ordinances of the city of Harrisonville,
and the ordinances of the city of Harrisonville,
and that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
and that I will faithfully demean myself in the office
of mayor,
of mayor,
for which I was elected
for which I was elected
on the second day of April 2019.
on the second day of April 2019. Harrisonville, Missouri. Congratulations.
Well, that is tradition for me. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. It's been a good 4 years. It's had its ups and downs. As anybody up here will tell you, there's good times and bad times. I'm proud of the things we've got done the last 4 years. I feel we accomplished a lot. We had a lot to overcome. We had a state audit that came up, and we got through that. We got that addressed. The new board and new mayor are starting with a clean slate. They can go forward from here. They have a city that I believe is in better shape than what we inherited when some of us took office back in 2015. So the future for Harrisonville, I believe, is bright. And I ask one thing of the new mayor: take care of my city, take care of my citizens. And good luck to you, and I hope all goes well. So thank you very much. I really appreciate this. This is fantastic.
So we are going to celebrate with punch and cake, but before we do that, I need a motion to recess to do that.
I make a motion we recess.
I have a motion from Alderman Turner. Do I have a second? And a second from Alderman Milner. All in favor of taking a 15-minute recess?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to do that. Please join us for punch and cake up here at the table.
No, thanks.
Go nuts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would join us, we're going to reconvene this Board of Aldermen meeting. And I'd like to ask the clerk to do a roll call, please.
Alderman Bockelman. Alderman Dorhoff. Present. Alderman Milner. Present. Alderman Reese. Present. Alderman Milner.
Present.
Alderman Dickerson.
Present.
Alderman
Davidson.
Present.
Of course, Alderman Turner.
Coming. Easy. Hey, new mayor, but sing.
And Mayor Rose.
Present. Thank you, everyone. We do have a quorum. We're going to continue with the city's business. First item on our agenda is Racing for Rhett. I believe that's you, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Before you tonight is the Racing for Rhett event application. This is an annual event. It's about the 6th year they've had it. It is a run, starts in the park, goes through the community, ends up back in the park. It's a really nice fundraising event for Rett syndrome research. Like I say, we've had no problems in the past. Staff recommends approval. I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for the chief? I have a motion from Alderman Milner and a second from Alderman Dorhoff to approve Council Bill 21. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
No, I think the Racing for Rhett.
Oh, so sorry. Okay. So Racing for Red, so we.
I think she made a motion, I think you just vote on it
Okay.
with clarity.
Okay, so it's not a council bill, it's just a vote to approve Racing for Red. And we had a motion and a second, and all in favor? Aye. It passes unanimously, 6-0. All right, now, Chamber of Commerce event.
This is a fairly new event. They had a couple of these where they didn't request city property there. This is a wine crawl. They're asking for May 16, 2019 from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And the chamber is requesting that we close Independence Street from Pearl to Wall Street, just at 1 block of the square, so that they can have some activities out in the street. They'll have different businesses where they'll go taste wine from and do some shopping. This also is a fundraiser for the Chamber of Commerce. In the past, we did have some issues with the prior events where they were having alcohol outside. We've addressed that with them. They said that's not going to happen. It's a different group doing it this time, so something we'll keep an eye on. But staff is recommending approval. Entertain any questions?
Questions for the chief?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Miller and a second from Alderman Turner. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 6-0. And now we do Council Bill 21.
Council Bill 21, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen authorizing the city administrator to enter into and execute a contract with Chief Heating and Cooling to replace the HVAC unit in the administration building of the Harrisonville Emergency Services Offices at a cost of $15,385 and establishing an effective date.
I'm gonna get a little closer to this right this time. Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. This is a replacement unit. This unit was basically installed when the building was built back in 2001. We've attempted to try to fix it a couple times, although it's still functioning currently after the temporary fix from last year. It was decided in the 2019 budget to try to replace it. We have used Chief Heating and Cooling on several regular bases. They're about the only agency or the company in the Tennessee metro area that we can touch the unit due to the age of it. It still has the old Freon in it, so it's going to be outdated in 2020. So the new unit that's coming in is going to be a new updated version. Should have replaced both the outside air handler, which is about a 12.5-ton unit, and the air handler that's inside of the building, which I think they built the building around it. Like I said, this also covers the coverage for removal of the old unit, and which will have to bring the compressor unit out of there to where it's at. We opened bids and stuff like that and on the 5th of April, and we had 3 bids that come back. Comfort Solutions and Heating and Cooling Harrisonville and Chief Heating and Cooling Lee Summit. We also originally budgeted $35,000 for this repair and replacement, and we came way out by the budget of $15,385. Yeah, any questions?
We like it when you come under budget. Questions for the chief? If not, I would entertain a motion. I have a motion from Alderman Milner and a second from Alderman Reese. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the resolution passes 6-0 and becomes resolution 016. Council Bill 22.
Council Bill 22, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Vance Brothers, Inc. for slurry sealing of streets for the 2019 street program in the amount of $105,965.60 and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Jacobs, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. I come to you with this request for this slurry sealing. You've seen this on the south of the Dennis, you've seen this in other areas. It takes good asphalt, just puts seal on it to keep the water out of it. It's a good way to maintain our streets without a lot of costs. And so I ask if you approve this. If you have any questions, you can answer.
And it's part of what you had budgeted for already?
It is part of, we takes, we normally take and look for about $100,000. And then we take that and we put that towards sealing, and it's part of the asphalt budget, yes, sir. Also, in this, painting of the asphalt will come later, but that'd be part of the project, so the same. And alternates is we take the ones we think it's going to, we think that this is what it's going to cost, because we never know what we did. So we add what we think we have the money for, and we add some others just to make it enough in case it does come under bid. And this year was a very good year. Not so much for slurry, but for asphalt. Astounding how cheap the asphalt was from the company we got. That'll be the next one. So.
Mr. Jacobs, for the benefit of the new alderman here, would you just real briefly explain how you rate the streets, how you decide that?
Every year, you know, November, December, sometimes January, to get tied up. We do an evaluation of the streets and give them a number. And then we come back and we look at those roads and say, okay, this one, you know, to bring this road up, 60 is failing. 40 is failing. 60 for us needs some work. So you want to get before you get to 40. 100 is the best. Nothing gets 100. As soon as it's a brand new street, it'll be 100 the second day, it's got a crack in it, so it's not 100 anymore. So we take that and we take that into consideration of how many people use this street, how the effectiveness of the street, and the price of what it's going to cost. And then we sit down and Foreman and Bob Ray and myself, we sit down and see this is what it's going to take. And we take that and say this is a good one for sealing, for slurry sealing. This one's a good one for chip sealing, and this was a good one for asphalt. And so that's how we do that. But everything has a number in these fall streets as a guide. It's not perfect. As you notice, right by City Hall, Marta, that's been 40 for a while, and we haven't been able to do it. So just only half you can use it. But that's on our list. That needs a lot of, it's going to take a lot of time for that. So we should keep putting it off because that's it's. So any other questions we've had this?
Any other questions from Mr. Jacobs?
I make a motion to approve Council Bill 22.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Davidson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries 6-0, and comes resolution R-017. All right, Council Bill 23.
Council Bill 23, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Phillips Paving Company, Inc. for asphalt overlay for the 2019 street program in the amount of $250,298.95 and establishing an effective date.
Okay, Mr. Jacobs.
Okay. On asphalt is the most expensive project we have. We said that concrete sidewalk and curbs. Asphalt's the most expensive. We normally do this year. Plaza is on that route, is on that list. It's an expensive street. And then we take those and we have another one on Halsey going down to McEwen School. That one and Edgeville going down to south. Those are expensive streets. So we pick those first because they need it so badly. And then we pick a few others to King Street. going up to, because that's a busy street. It's a snowplow route. It acts as a collector, and so that was important to us. It widened up a little bit. You saw what we did with Elm Street there by Bradley, improved that last year. So we used that. As I said, the asphalt coming in extremely inexpensive comparatively this year. Caught me off. And so as you see, I didn't spend all that money, which I keep myself ever since. But we'll see where that ends up. We'll spend this money and then come back and have a smaller program for it. Any other questions?
No more questions? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to cancel Bill 23. Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Dorhoff. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 8-0 and becomes Resolution 018. Council Bill 24.
Council Bill 24, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen authorizing the city administrator to make payment to PAR Electric Contractors, Inc. for an emergency utility pole replacement at 304 Brook Ridge and establishing an effective date.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. This is something you wouldn't normally see, but with one of our storm outages in January, you have a picture in there that shows this pole has been split from the top. This one was a little bit too big for our guys to do on their own with all the other lines coming into it. It is 3-phase lines. You'll see that there was 3 bids, and we actually used the most expensive one by choice. They're the only ones that would come out and do it without a month's notice. And it's taken us this long to get the bill from them. We actually just got the bill 2 weeks ago. So I'm happy to entertain any questions you might have.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion for Council Bill 24.
I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Reese. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 8-0 and becomes Resolution 019.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Community Center Van Purchasing Policy Waiver, Mr. Deal.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. As stated in the memo that you have, as a part of our 2019 approved budget is included a purchase of a passenger van to be used for the summer day camp program and other camp programs and things that we have at the Parks and Recreation Department. Staff budgeted for a used van because we want to be taking trips in town, such as to the outdoor pool and local theater and our larger field trips. We take to the zoo, and also like Worlds of Fun is a catered bus service. So although we received several verbal bids within the $20,000, after posting the bids and sending directly to 6 different dealers, we received no written bids. When asked why, they responded those vehicles are already sold. So just to see how close we were to a new van cost, we did check the state bid, and that was $5,000 over. And plus, it did not have the important the safety features that we considered were vital for carrying the kids. So for these reasons, staff is asking permission to directly negotiate with the dealer for the best price for a used van to make it a timely request and a purchase. It would not exceed $20,000. And if approved, staff would bring the recommended van specifications and the price to the city administrator for final approval. This process has been approved in the past by the city for similar reasons, and the park board unanimously approved this process last week. And I'll answer any questions that you may have.
So we're going to go, then you're going to look into.
No, we're going to go.
So those
Used, yes.
And because it is a used van, do you still have to go through the bid process?
Oh,
or because it's used, you can just find one and go?
Well, we did do written bids, and we sent it out to all the dealers that we did, plus we posted it on the internet. Because these go so quickly, the bid process takes a while, and by the time we're ready to bring it forward, those bids we got prices on are gone. What we found was about 3 different vans that are around $18,000, $18,500, around 45,000, 50,000 miles. They're in good shape, some still under limited warranty. And so for us to be able to, we would still look at least 2 to 3 bids and find the best bid with the best price and be able to act quicker than waiting 2 to 3 weeks before we come before the board and have it approved. And so we would be say within budget. I feel pretty confident under budget, and that's the process we're asking to be able to go ahead and proceed with that method under, stay under budget.
Any other questions or discussion? I entertain a motion then.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Milner and a second from Alderman Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes 8-0. And we move on to the public hearing.
Mayor Bowman?
Yes, sir.
May I be excused on the public hearing in Council Bill 25, as that represents a conflict of interest for myself. Just a footnote that last fall, White and I had our property surveyed by Troy Bowers. We found these issues, and so we've been working on it ever since to get that resolved. And I will allow Roger Crowe to represent the White and I on this matter. Thank you.
As Clint indicated, this is a vacation. Across this property, there's been some street right, unused, never improved, platted street right-of-way and alley right-of-way that the Millers have been maintaining as a part of their yard from the time they've owned the home, and I think owners before that, the house has been there since, I think, 1944. We were going through this process, and this was supposed to be on the agenda in February. The surveyor found another little piece that we had missed, so we went through there's a 30-day waiting period where somebody can object, and we've received no objections. After the surveyor pointed out that we had missed a piece, we went through it again. It arrives tonight, which is why Clint had to step out of the room, but we recommend approval.
So I'm going to open the public hearing for this matter. If anyone wishes to speak, please step forward to the microphone. And seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. So it's Council Bill 25.
Council Bill 25, first reading. An ordinance vacating unused and unimproved Oak Street right-of-way, Buckeye Street right-of-way, and an alley remnant, all at 403 Locust Street in Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri, and establishing an effective date.
Yes.
It's an ordinance, so there you'd have
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules of Council Bill 25 and pass it to the second reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to suspend the rule and move Council Bill 25 to its second reading. May we have a roll call, please?
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Miller. Absent. Alderman Dorhoff. Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bockelman. Alderman Reese.
Aye.
And Alderman Milner.
Aye.
And second reading, please.
Second reading, Council Bill 25, an ordinance vacating unused and unimproved Oak Street right-of-way, Buckeye Street right-of-way, and an alley remnant, all at 403 Locust Street in Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri, and establishing an effective date.
Alderman Dickerson.
Aye.
Alderman Davidson.
Aye.
Alderman Reese.
Aye.
Alderman Dorhoff. Alderman Milner.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Bockelman. And Alderman Miller is absent.
Why don't you show Alderman Miller as abstaining and not absent?
Okay.
Thank you. The motion passes then 7 with Alderman Miller abstaining. And becomes ordinance 3464. Let him come back in. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I believe you want to talk about health insurance increase request. Yes, absolutely.
So this is an issue I hate to bring to you on your first night for our new members, but the issue came about because of a rate increase from Midwest Public Risk. They do our liability, workers' compensation insurance, as well as our health care insurance. By the time we were informed of the rate increase of around 20%, 20 to 25%, we did not have time to make a sudden pivot on what to do about health insurance. And because we had a few experiences this year which were fairly high and didn't believe that we would get a good rate if we went out for another insurance company, that we were hoping this year to increase the deductibles, and we budgeted a smaller amount for the increase that the city pays, because we saw that the numbers over the past 5 years were ranging anywhere from 5 to 10%. And if we stayed in that range and we dropped the deductible, we figured we could then add to the employees' pay, add to their payroll, add to their take-home pay, because we figured the 4% increase would cover a majority of what we would change. By going up with the deductible, would drop the rate down, we would be able to cover some of it still. However, all good plans apparently go away or get messed up somewhere along the way. So in this case, the increase was significant from NPR. We have looked at the 4% increase. We offer employees 3 different plans. One of the plans, the employee would get some money back for the HSA for the individual, but on the family and for the dependent care, we're not going to be able to cover any of that. We're not going to be able to cover anything beyond what we normally do, so they won't get any extra money put in their HSA. And even with the bump, because we tried to figure out what we could do to help the employees, and this would be a bump in what the city pays, the single, the dependent, and the family care. So Marcella McCoy did some quick calculating for us. Came up with roughly a 4.5% increase, which would be $25. That would at least offset some of that amount that we had not anticipated. It's not going to help the employees fully. But we wanted to bring something to the board for you to think about. If you want to discuss and push it through tonight, that's fine. If you want to discuss further at a further meeting, that's fine as well. NPR is pushing us to get them numbers and information, but at this point, we've given them the amount that we had already budgeted in. We'll stay with that. I think it's an advantage that the city can then kick in, and NPR can make do with what we give them, in my opinion. So we brought it to the board tonight. We have enough set aside, left out, because we budgeted in for a full-time employee in the airport. We are not going to be spending that money since we don't have the airport director. We have our part-time person. We figured this cost would be about $36,000 in a year's time. We're looking at just a half a year because our insurance starts July 1, so this is just through the end of 2019. So we're figuring this is about an $18,000 hit to our budget. But we think it's important to show our employees that the city wants to assist. And again, it's going to be on my doorstep because I'm the one that decided that based on past record, it looked like we were going to be able to offset some of the costs and be able to give the employees a savings, and no chance at this point. Questions?
How many different companies have we contacted to see what they would do for us?
The problem with NPR is that you have to give them 90 days notice. That notice would have to have been given to them on April 1st. We found out 2 weeks before that. We did not have time to go out and try to check the market. Because what we didn't want to do, because of what we had in the way of experience this past year, we didn't want to go out and then fill out all that paperwork and find out that somebody else was going to give us the same rate. And then if we decided we didn't want to go with another company and we went back with NPR, they could then change our rate to be like a new company that came back to them. So I was concerned because of what we've had, our experience over the last year with some employees, is that our rates would not come back well. So I decided that we should stick it out with NPR at this point. we're past that due date that we can get out from under. So we will have to look. If we look, we're going to have to look for next year. So we've got a whole year of this.
Is there a timeline on us approving it?
Yes, because we'll start billing in June, I believe. So we need to get something done by May. That would be our timetable.
At what point would we start looking for next year?
Probably immediately. I mean, we would need to start, you're not going to get the rates and information until the first or second quarter of the year. But we can start the paperwork, we can start that preparation process.
I think that'd be a real good idea, because anytime you have one company knowing what another company did, you stand a real good possibility of a little less. So.
And this may go in line with the fact that we probably need to also look at our liability and comprehensive or our workers' compensation coverage and go out and look at that on the market and see what's out there.
Which committee? Was that the?
It was the personnel committee that we were going to take it to. We did not have a quorum.
And we didn't have a quorum.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, question, Happy. When did FDR notify us of what our rates were?
That was the second week of March, so I think it was like March 13th, March 15th.
And is that pretty common that they wait until the very last minute?
It seemed it was later than normal, but I remember right from last year, we were kind of pushing the edge as well.
Well, go ahead, Marcel.
I'm sorry. Just from experience, and having probably done that also, it doesn't matter really what insurance company you go with. They're not going to provide your rates as far as specific rates until up to 90 days, and it's pushing it to even get it to 90 days. You know, and my past experience a lot of times is just 60 days, and so that's kind of where we're at now in April, and it starts hitting the employees' paychecks in June. So you're basically 60 days out before the premiums are due, before they do that. That's just been my experience, you know, and it seems like it's always that kind of a time crunch. So by looking, you know, definitely late summer at the latest, if we even remotely think we can change it and save ourselves.
Did I understand you correctly to say that if you put out the bid and nobody else bid or NPR got the bid, that they can classify it as a first time?
Yeah, they would bring us back in as like a new client.
So every time you bid, they can do that?
If you give them notice that you're going to leave, if you want to go back, yeah.
But we have to give them notice to go get a bid?
Yes, and if we decide to go with another workers' compensation liability company, we have to give them 6 months' notice.
If, let me make sure I understood this, but if NPR notified us on the 15th of March of the increase in the rates, but yet we had to give NPR 90 days notice if we wanted to shop the rates, how can they?
Agreement terms or anything like that, then obviously just send them to me and we'll take a look and see what's going on.
I really like that approach of stepping back and looking at it a little bit further, particularly with the help of a broker. I know our employees will appreciate that we've done our due diligence, and I think that those 121 employees will be happy to fill out additional paperwork if we can save their family from being impacted with huge health insurance premium increases. So thank you, members of the board, for that discussion. We'll move on to Council Bill 26.
Council Bill 26, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Build at LLC for the front entryway concrete and landscaping replacement at the Harrisonville Community Center in the amount of $32,614.62 and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Neal.
Hello again, Mayor and members of the board. As stated in the memo, staff sent out bids for the renovation of the front entrance of the community center. The project includes removing the existing concrete. Much of it is failing in a poor shape, as you can see coming in, and replacing it with new concrete, new landscaping in the front of the community center. Staff received 11 bids for this project, and the low bid was Build It LLC from Nevada, Missouri, and is recommended for this project. The low bid was the budget was $60,000 for the project, and the low bid was $32,614.62. References were checked with very high reviews on both craftsmanship and also being on time. Building has done work for MoDOT, Nevada, Concordia, and other city locations. So with this being under budget by $28,000, staff is also requesting to go out to bid to complete the front entrance of the community center, which is indicated in the maps that you see, areas 2 and 3, which really kind of carries out the sidewalks on both sides of that front entrance areas. These are also in poor shape. So to summarize, the request to accept the bid for Building LLC for $32,614.62, and this was approved by the Park Board. And I guess this, it would be the second part that we requested. We can go back out to bid. It would be separate from the low bid. So I'll stop there with that request and answer any questions. That is original. Building is into its 13th year.
Salt?
Yeah. Yeah, that's from a lot of weather changes and from salt. We also have gotten some input regarding something that would be used a little bit less abrasive on the cement, and that's what we will be using going forward.
Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Miller and a second from Alderman Dorhoff. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 8-0 and becomes resolution 020. Item number 10, electing an acting president of the board. I believe that's you.
I'm sorry. I had a second part I was going to try to get approval on.
Sorry.
No, it wasn't in a written thing.
No,
so,
it's not.
Yeah. Well, here you're doing good. I'm missed something there. The savings on this is about $28,000, and I think there's a good chance that the low bidder would be happy to do both sides of that. What I would like permission from the board is to be able to go out to bid, which would be bidding from everyone, to finish those areas 2 and 3 that you see on your map. And if we did that with under $28,000, we would be able to do the entire project at or under budget and get it all done this year. And that would be great because it would be done all by the same vendor, or even a second vendor. It would all be done this year. So we would bring that back before the board, of course, but my request is to be able to go out to bid for that savings of the $28,000 to finish the front entrance.
Mr. Fairfield has suggested that we just go ahead, that I just go ahead and direct you to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
You don't need a vote for that.
Awesome.
And you can do it, and you can just bring it back.
Okay.
Since it's not on the agenda for that, I think since it's within the budget, I think you're just informing the board. So I think the mayor and the executive authority can say, since it's in the budget, go forward, bring back the resolution for board approval later.
Okay. We will do that and proceed and come back later. Thank you very much.
And now we do item number 10, electing a president of the board.
So you have paper that we dropped at your location, spots. You're electing the mayor pro tem. For the board of aldermen, in the absence of the mayor, your mayor pro tem would be in charge. In the absence of the mayor pro tem, your board would just elect somebody. But at this point, what you want is somebody that would be available, make themselves available if the mayor is absent, if something would happen.
I'm going to nominate Marcy Miller for Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Well, how's that for a vote of confidence? I have a nomination for Marcy Milner to be our Mayor Pro Tem. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor of Marcy being Mayor Pro Tem?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion carries 8-0. Congratulations.
Thanks, David.
Moving on to Alderman and committee reports. I'll start with Alderman Bockelman. Alderman Dorhoff?
I'm good.
Alderman Milner?
I just think it's wonderful to see all you folks out here this evening. I know that you came for a fairly specific reason, but look around and see that you are the people that drive this city. You are the people that drive this board. And so thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to your advice all year long.
Alderman Miller?
Just want to say that I've sat in the audience regularly for the last 11 years, so it's a little different perspective sitting up here looking at all of you tonight. But thank you all very much. I appreciate your all support, and I appreciate the fact that you entrusted me to be your alderman and representative of the city. Thank you.
Alderman Dickerson.
I'd just like to congratulate everyone,
Judy and Clint, all the guys that ran Marcy, everybody, and I hope we can all find common ground, be able to work together.
Alderman Davidson.
Just like the forum, I ditto to what Clint just said. Thank you very much for entrusting your confidence in me in my ward and for the city, because I want to try to do the best I possibly can for everyone. So please keep us up to date on things that you would like to see happen, so that way we can look at it and move forward the next 4 years. So thank you.
And Alderman Turner.
I'd like to congratulate everyone again for new positions. Glad to have a new board, and maybe we can all work together and move Harrisonville forward and get it in the right direction and stay there.
Well, I would like to also echo the words that have been said up here and say thank you all for coming, and thank you for participating. Thank you for voting. I want to congratulate Alderman Dorhoff and Alderman Milner and Alderman Miller and Alderman Davidson on their victories and the fact that they're joining this Board of Aldermen. I welcome them, and we look forward to working with everyone on the board. You know, I believe sincerely in my heart that the best government is government that is transparent and inclusive. And in that vein, I will be making a couple of changes that will get us there. One of those changes is we're going to be utilizing work sessions instead of committees. We'll be having work sessions the same night as the Board of Aldermen meeting. Those are open to the public. I would welcome you to come and participate. We'll start those at 5:30 so that we can be finished with that business and in time for the Board of Aldermen meeting to begin the same night. So I believe that's one of the steps that will get us to that transparent and inclusive position that we want to be in. Secondly, I'm going to be looking and considering the appointments for various citizen boards and commissions, and I want to encourage you to apply for those. All these people that are sitting out here tonight could certainly participate on our citizen boards and commissions. So those applications are available at City Hall, also available on the website, and I would encourage you to participate with us. So thank you all for being here. Yes. Thank you all for being here, and now I'll ask for the City Administrator's report.
Real fast, I'll put an update where you're sitting, just so you've got that information. Item 6 is something that we need to pass on to everybody. This is for the the limb brush pickup. Because we're running so late on that, we decided to just extend the days that we do that pickup in May, and we'll have it on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. We'll do it from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the 9th and 10th, and then from 8 to 5 on the 11th. So we've got some extended hours for those that can't make it during regular hours, or during the daytime. But this way we've got an extra day so people can drop stuff off, give them some extra time to do that. The road in and out is in good shape. We don't have to worry about rain happening again and causing problems with trying to get in and get that dropped off. So again, if you put that on your calendars, and we will advertise it on the Facebook page, on our website, all the avenues that we can get it out there, and then remind people when they check into our Facebook page and all that. And we'll be back home next time in May for our first meeting, back at City Hall. This has been nice to have it in a nice facility like this. We'd like to show off this building when we can, and thank you all for being here.
Happy, will you give me those dates again? Did you say 9th, 10th, and 11th?
Yes, it's a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of May.
And will it be a small day event?
It goes from 10 to 7, so we're going to extend it into the evenings on that Thursday and Friday, the 9th and 10th. And on the 11th, we'll be out there from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on that Saturday.
And were we able to find any community service groups to help people that can't get their brush to the dump site?
So now that we have a date, we're going to push.
Alderman
get people
Turner.
involved.
Yeah, okay,
Can you get the microphone?
no. I believe Daniel is taking the list of names of residents who are not able to pick up the limbs and stuff. There are a couple crews from the Elks Lodge that have trailers and are waiting. They're gonna go around. I was asked to help get a list of names of people who can't load it or can't haul it, the ones who really can't, and get a list of names, and they will come by, they'll pick them up, and they will drop them off for them. I know there's been some other people who have been wanting to help out and do that too. I guess I'm going to get with Daniel later and see what kind of list or names, if people can just call in, I guess.
So
and
tell
be
us,
on the list.
Daniel, do citizens call you?
If they could email dbarnett@harrisonville.com, that's what we've published, the avenue for them to communicate that to us. Elks Lodge has gotten in touch with me. If there are others, I'd love to hear from them. I know that I've heard multiple people mention that. Just haven't officially had them commit to it. So my email inbox is open.
Okay. So I'm going to repeat that. It's dbarnett@harrisonville.com. That's Daniel's email address for anyone that you know that needs assistance getting their brush to the drop-off site. Thank you for doing that, Alderman, and thank you, Daniel. Is there anything else for the board tonight?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn from Alderman Dickerson. Do I have a second? And a second from Alderman Reese. Good night, everyone.